In this video we discover 5 of the most useless mega projects in the world. By the way, this order in this video is not a ranking, just a list instead. Number 5. Interstate H-3, Hawaii. Let's start in an American state that is also an island. Hawaii is well known for vacations with beautiful landscapes and beaches. The same can be observed on Interstate H-3, a 26 kilometers long road that crosses one of the most breathtaking landscapes in the world. The road connects Pearl Harbor and Marine Corps Air Station on the east coast. The announcement of construction was met with immediate opposition from environmental groups as well as local Hawaiians concerned about the massive urbanization the project would bring. Construction was famously completed in 1997, almost 37 years later than expected to be authentic. Therefore, many shifts in construction due to the environment, the event could take place. The Interstate H-3 has been called an engineering marvel due to the difficult terrain and the construction technologies used within its construction. The interstate is not always for everyone. Critics call it a road to nowhere, because the defense considerations of the 1960s are no longer relevant and the highway has no direct interaction with downtown Honolulu. Then there is the case where the locals refuse to use the road. Number 4, Ciudad Real Central Airport, Spain. Spain is one of the most essential travel destinations in Europe. This was a good consideration when building the Ciudad Real Central Airport. It became a destination for travelers within Spain. This airport is meant to be an option to the way crowded Madrid airport. The new-fangled airport had one of the 5 longest runways in Europe and could accommodate 2 million passengers per year. This is a relatively marginal number compared to Madrid airport with 70 million passengers. Expansion plans have already been launched to increase capacity by 10 million per year. When it finally went live in 2009, the $1.3 billion spend might be reasonable. All plans, however, ended in 2012 when the company behind the plans filed for bankruptcy. The difficulties began with the whereabouts of the project. Although called the Central Airport, it was anything but central as the airport was 200 kilometers from Madrid. This exacerbated the problems faced by passengers who refused to travel at the dropped locations for hours, and most airlines preferred to operate from the capital. The airport was trimmed down to a marginal airline a few years after it opened. With no major airlines to attract passengers, by 2012 the airport had accumulated debts of up to $350 million. After several activities had failed, the airport was sold to innovative owners. Number 3, Naypyidaw, Myanmar. This mega project is not just a remote airport, instead of the capital of Myanmar. A modern capital rebuilt from the ground up. In 2002, Myanmar's former military leaders secretly began building a new type of capital. In November 2005, the leadership of Myanmar publicly announced their decision, keeping the name of the new capital a secret. 4 months later, he last revealed the name, Naypyidaw, which literally means the king's residence. The reasons for this sudden capital transfer were not known. Some speculated that the military was afraid of an attack from the sea. Additional thought it was postponed on the advice of astrologers, however, would have a lot to do with the then capital Yangon. Yangon is home to over 7 million people. The city is said to have reached its infrastructural limits and the population is expected to double by 2050. The coastal town was also founded as a capital for the British Navy during British rule. Due to this, it was reasonable to construct a new-fangled capital in the collective area of the nation. Construction was swift and successive governments have pumped $4 billion into the city. The city seems to have everything to attract visitors. A 20-lane highway, over 100 luxury hotels, golf courses, museum and even a 99m high replica of Yangon's landmark. But there is one important component that is missing. The population. Fewer than 1 million people live in the modern capital, the majority of whom live in suburbs that existed per se before the innovative city was built. But why doesn't anyone want to live there? A persistent gap in healthcare facilities, quality education, and economic opportunity means that the majority of the population are reluctant to make the city a permanent home. The city often gives the image of a deserted place and is often referred to as a ghost town. The incredible 20-lane federal highway is serviceably empty. Traffic status is unknown and sometimes a separate car gets stuck on the mighty road. Despite its seeming barrenness, there is a silver lining for the royal capital built as the city of the future, and with its exploding population, Naypyidaw still has time for compelling redemption. Now it is one of the strangest capitals in the world and useless to most of the population. Number 2. Arena da Amazônia, Manaus. Brazil ended up hosting the 2014 FIFA World Cup. Apart from that, the country needed a lot of renovations to be available for the event. In total, Brazil had to construct 12 modern football stadiums and renovate old ones. This gigantic mega project should have cost Brazil $11 billion, and Brazil were nevertheless happy to be able to show football in their country. However, as in many WM countries, those mega projects are not commercial in the long run. Criticism and economic effects are often forgotten. In several respects, this mega project was economically pointless. The most obvious was the construction of the Arena da Amazônia in Manaus. It took 4 years to build and cost around $250 million. The construction was not an easy task. Manaus is the 7th largest city in Brazil, but is located in the middle of the Amazon rainforest. This situation made it difficult to transport bulky items, as many such items were shipped from Portugal and used to navigate the Amazon. This trip took 3 weeks, which made the construction even more expensive. Nevertheless, the difficulties of this mega project lay enormously deeper. After all the effort and foreign exchange, only 4 games were presented in this stadium. The income from these events never exceeded the expenses. After the 4 games, the stadium alone was rarely used. The local clubs don't have enough supporters to fill the 40,000-seat stadium every week. On top of that, the most common residents cannot afford such a ticket. The stadium was used again for competitions such as the 2016 Summer Olympics. Number 1. Xinyang International Project. Recently, China has grown rapidly and many houses have become the most famous buildings in the world. Mega projects have emerged across the country, but not all of them are successful. In truth, China has amassed many ghost towns that cost billions to build that have generally remained empty. In today's video we take the worldwide project Xinyang, which was built in Shijiazhuang and is called a city within a city. The project was built for $3 billion and consists of 2 parts. A larger residential community with apartments and amusement parks, and a smaller commercial center with a mall and skyscraper. The location of the project is extremely economical as it is conveniently located next to a high-speed train station and in close proximity to underground stations. So how did it come about that this project was abandoned in this way with almost no population? When the project was first announced, there was tremendous excitement. 700 units were sold outright. However, construction was abruptly halted in 2014 when the real estate company was analyzed. By 2017, the allegations of corruption were proven and the main developer ended up in jail. As a result, the real estate markets collapsed and the company filed for bankruptcy. To date, thousands of homeowners have not been able to move in because the project has been penalized by the government. The half-finished change is unusable to date and usable developments are starting to crumble. To this day there is no formal indication that the project will ever be resumed, and it thus looks like this $3 billion project will be visited exclusively by adventurers. That's it from a video. What do you think about these projects? Let me know in the comments. See you next time.